Yo, what is up everyone? Back here with another video. In this video, we're going to be going over the teams that did the best in the most recent Pokemon Regional. Obviously, the next regional is coming up, Salt Lake City in the United States. I'll be there at that one, right? So, that should be good. But yeah, the first regional happened, so we're going to kind of go over the teams. We'll maybe even look at the final match because I know that that was actually streamed. I'll see if I can find the link for that or something, right? But I did find it to be a really interesting, like, top 16 overall, right? So this is a pretty, I'd say it's a pretty small regional, right? I mean, some people got like some decent, CP out of it, even if they placed top 16. But like, yeah, it was just an interesting tournament overall. I mean, there were a couple teams that I thought were like more interesting than others. And by like interesting, I mean kind of like like huh, you know what I mean? And then some teams that just made sense, But yeah, so we'll probably start from the bottom and then we'll go through the rest. We might even watch like the finals, because the finals is on YouTube, right? On Victory Road's YouTube actually, so it might even be worth like checking out, right? So we'll consider that. We'll see how like the video is coming along. But yeah, so first up on like the bottom we have in top 16 Chris, right? So Chris is using Zacian Ogre, Incin, Amoonguss, Tornadus, and Zapdos. So this 6 was used by Mike D'Angelo in Victory Road, placed top 8. It was the first like big tournament in Series 12, and like this team ended up doing like pretty decently, right? So then we see it now being brought here. Also his daughter ended up winning as well in junior division. So it's an alright team, I mean, Tornogre is kind of fine. I feel like it might be a bit outdated going into Salt Lake, so I wouldn't expect to see this team place well. But yeah. Then we have Joseph Garrett using Solgaleo Yveltal. This is something we actually haven't seen too often, so I wasn't really necessarily expecting to see it. But, it's there. It exists. I can't really, I mean, the Solgaleo, Yveltal, Incin, Gastro is, common. And then you have, Grimmsnarl there for screens. Just makes a lot of sense, I don't think there's anything, too crazy about that overall. Pretty much what I would have expected as a whole. And then Finny, it does give you terrain control. I didn't expect to see a Finny, to be honest. But, I mean, I guess it kind of works on this team. It's kind of interesting. Then we have Mastodon or Paul Amdy, pretty much just placing 14th place with the team that I use. So if you guys haven't noticed, the team that I used to win Victory Road was actually used a good chunk, and it was appearing a good amount within this top 16, right? But yeah, so obviously that was used there. We go up to Will Tom's team. That one's a little more interesting, right? Because as an executor, I have no clue what the executor does. I mean, I guess it has Trick Room and has fast sleep powder, right? So that's kind of cute. That being said, I mean, it's your standard Zacian Groudon team. You just have Zacian, Groudon, Charizard, Incin, and then grass type. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know. It's all right. I wouldn't expect it to be this crazy team going into future. We have James Katsaros also using my 6. Overall, pretty standard, right? Zacian Ogre definitely had a good appearance at this regional. It ended up doing pretty alright. So yeah, I would definitely expect to see it still around going into Salt Lake. Then we have Christopher again. He used Eveldon, Venusaur, Incin, Regieleki, and Gothitelle. Not exactly what I would have expected to see, but I mean, it did have, its appearance there. Definitely seems like it has a questionable Palkia Calyrex matchup, right? So it's kind of interesting to see it do well. I need to get rid of this. Sorry guys, that's from my wavelength. But yeah, really interesting team. I mean, I guess you have a pin with Gothitelle right next to Yveltal, which is kind of cool. You get I don't know why I'm yelling so much. You get the fake out plus foul play maybe, or you get Alice, which was foul play. You can also just trap them in with your Groudon, go for Swords Dance. But yeah, then we see Palkia Ice. This is kind of the new flavor of the week, I almost feel like. But I could see it being really good in Salt Lake as well. I feel like a lot of people might end up bringing it. Overall, it's a pretty solid archetype at the moment. It's been appearing a lot. Typically, the core you'll see is Calyrex Ice, Palkia, Incin, Amoonguss, Regieleki, and then Trick Room Setter. P2 was the choice for this team, so it was all right. I mean, it showed up, I guess. I would probably expect the Dusclops version to be a little more common if I were to look at another event, but I mean, there is the Porygon version there. Then we have a really weird archetype. Like this one's just like what, you know. We have Calyrex Shadow Rider, and Yveltal. This is kind of weird. I wasn't really expecting to see something like this. I mean, you get the double Intimidate core plus like Regieleki and Amoonguss, which makes a lot of sense, right? Like that's fine. I'm not too surprised by that. But then you see like the rest, and you're like, huh, you know. But like overall, I'd say it kind of makes sense, you know. I mean, you get the like fast Will-O-Wisp, you get like Astral Barrage, you know, you have like Amoonguss for sleep, you have Incineroar to intimidate along with Landorus. It just overall makes like a bunch of sense, I feel like. And then you have like Web, you know, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. Then we have a Luke who's using like the standard. Well, I say standard, but not really. Like it's like the Rotom Heat like evaluation stuff, but instead of running Landorus, it's an Incin, which like I feel like makes certain matchups worse almost because I feel like, for example, like this team just scoops to Colossal. I actually don't think there's any way this team beats Colossal because Gastro's pretty susceptible, right? And like yes, like they have a Rillaboom too, you know. It's just really tricky. And then we have Sam's team here. Oh my god, I'm yawning so much. Do I need to record like not when I wake up? I need to record like later when I'm like a little less tired. But yeah. Then we have Zacian Ogre again placing super well. Sam was using pretty much the exact same version that I had, not any changes at all. We have a Dialga Kyogre. I could see this archetype popping up once in a while. It seems like pretty good, especially into like a Zacian Ogre heavy metagame, right? Dialga also matches up well into Palkia and Calyrex Ice, right? So wouldn't be too surprised to see that. Then, you know, we have the Zacian Ogre team here. Pretty much like, I mean, you've seen this 6 a bunch, right? Like, it ended up placing really well. So I guess it shows you that if you are opting for consistency, you know, like that would be it. And then over here, we have a, you know, Zacian Groudon team. I would say this is probably worse than the screens version of the team. I think it's also too like Alfredo's a good player, you know what I mean? And like some of the teams were a little bit weird in this regional, right? So I definitely think like Regieleki just kind of lets you like blast through like the weirder teams. But yeah, I mean like it was all right. You know, I didn't mind this team. It was the team that Hirofumi used in the first IC in February, if I remember correctly, and like maybe like a couple edited sets. And then yeah, and then we have Lewis Tand, who ended up placing third using Thundurus, Ditto, Rotom Heat, Rillaboom, like Calyrex Shadow Rider, Zacian, right? So kind of an interesting team. I was surprised with all the Rotom Heat, but I guess it does help you deal with like the Sun teams running around if they are. That being said, this team was like a really weird matchup because obviously like Sam was using my team, so I ended up talking to him a little bit about this matchup that he had versus Calyrex Shadow Rider and Zacian, and like it definitely was like something that felt a bit more in his favor, right? Also seems like it could struggle a bit with Grimmsnarl, right? So there's just kind of like an interesting thing there. Then we have second place Megan Rattle using Calyrex Ice Rider plus Palkia. As I mentioned, pretty solid archetype. Not too surprised to see it like do well, right? But yeah, I mean it ended up getting second place, right? So it's decent, you know. You also get the Trick Room option here. And then, you know, you have Regieleki as, like, the faster option next to Palkia, potentially to, like, put on a bit more pressure. Then finally, we look over here and we have Henry's team, right, using Zacian, Ogre, Incin, Ferrothorn, Whimsicott, and Regieleki. This is basically a team that Paul Ruiz used, except that it has a Regieleki instead of the what's it called, Zapdos, right? And it's a physical Regieleki to my knowledge because I think I had played versus this at some point, right? So we'll actually take a look at the finals real quick. I feel like we can definitely do that. Let me open this up. Let me go back actually here so we have it open. Okay, where's the finals? Finals. Because I know for a fact they uploaded the finals somewhere, right? Not that. That's the finals for my thing. Because like I know they tweeted about it, right? Let me look over here, right? Let's go to this screen for a second. I'm gonna look over and see if they have the thingy here. Where is it? They uploaded finals right about here, right? Oh, it might have gotten taken down. They actually might have had to take the video down, I feel like, because I actually like swear that they had it. But yeah, I guess they don't have it. I don't know, whatever. If I end up finding it, maybe I'll do like a separate video on like watching it. But yeah, anyway, so like, you know, you have like Zacian Ogre taking the win here. Overall, what I would get from this like metagame, Zacian Ogre's still really good. You need to watch out for Palkia, Calyrex Ice. That's something that's popping up a bit more now. Sunstow's potential. I mean, I genuinely think if more players had brought it, would have done better. I wouldn't take too many of the other archetypes seriously for the most part. And one thing of interesting note, there was no Yveltal Zacian in top 16, so it seems that the archetype might have fallen off in popularity a little bit. I also think like it might have matched up fine into the field anyways, right? It might have just been like a bad day for it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pop up. And then, you know, you have some like strays like Dialga kind of popping up. I could see something like Dialga also finding success later on too, right? So overall, definitely really interesting regional, interesting usage. If you guys are interested in supporting me beyond YouTube, please make sure to check out the Patreon. If you guys are interested in, you know, working one-on-one coaching, improving your skills, make sure to check out the link down below for my coaching website. Once again, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Incredibly appreciate it. We'll have one more video coming out before Salt Lake Regionals. Maybe I'll schedule one to come out like while I'm competing over there. But the last one we're going to do is like going over the IC probably. And then after that, I'll be uploading depending on how I do at Salt Lake. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support. Incredibly appreciate it. And see you guys on the next video. Peace.